Dynamics of seeking the face of God. Majorly, we seek the face of God through prayer, worship, sacrifice, and being in His presence, and just desiring in our hearts to hear from Him. In 2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 1, the Bible says, during the reign of David, there was a famine for 3 successive years. So David sought the face of the Lord. The Lord said, it is on account of Saul and his blood-stained house. It is because he put the Gibeonites to death. So there is need to seek God's intervention in times of challenges. There's time when challenges appear in our lives. Like remember here, a famine came for 1 year, 2 years. David thought it's normal, but when it persisted, he said no, there must be something behind it. So there are issues that have persisted in our lives, issues that keep coming. Just begin and you will realize this one is not normal, is not natural. This one must have something behind it. Then you go before the Lord and seek His face. Said for 10 years, you go to the doctors, you're told you're just normal, but there's no child. You're told you're not even barren, you're just normal, but you don't have a child. That's just an example. You can go before that to seek the face of God about the issue. There are many other issues. You farm on your land, neighbors harvest, but yours, 1 hectare produces 1 bag of maize instead of 18 or 19 or 20 bags of maize. And it persists like that. You put fertilizer, you do what? No change. Those are just examples. You go before the Lord saying, no, Lord, what is it? So there are many issues. Those are just 2 examples I've given. There are issues tailored in our own lives. You seek the face of the Lord in prayer, in fasting. And when you seek the face of the Lord, actually He will speak to us. While seeking the face of God, be open-minded to hear what He says. Be open-minded. Because some of us will go to the Lord and our minds are already fixated on either what is the cause of our issue or what is the solution. So you're only praying, but we have already decided. David went with an open mind. Actually, he didn't know that it may be Saul and his blood-stained house. Remember, Saul died many years ago before now. But God is saying his house is blood-stained. I believe when Saul's houses were already erased down or not there. Maybe it was only his son and the wives maybe who had houses. But God is saying his house is blood-stained. So the open-mindedness, when God the Lord with an open mind, is when He will fill us. But when the mind is full, then He has no place to fill His message. Let us go with an open mind so that He can put in His message. Next, we need to seek His face because He's God who is relational and He speaks. Other gods are mute and dead. Other gods that people worship out here who are non-believers, they are dead and made of wood and all those things. They don't speak, they don't hear. But our God hears and He speaks. He hears and He answers. So we are relational with our God. And God will speak to you in a diverse manner. God, we don't know how He spoke to David here. We are only told He spoke to him. So God can speak through dreams, can speak through visions, can speak through the word, can speak through men of God giving them a word, prophets, teachers, and all those, can speak through your conscience. He can speak through insight, just dropping a word of insight in your heart. He can speak through an audible voice, nature, experience. God can speak through many other issues. It is you to have an open mind, as we said. Then you can hear Him. You can hear Him. And remember, the curtain was torn when Christ died, and all of us can access the Holy of Holies. You don't need to go through a mediator to hear God. David here did not look for prophet, Gad, Nathan, and others. He went before the Lord himself, and he heard God. Go before the Lord yourself and hear God yourself. Another issue is God may tell us the cause of our challenges, or just tell us to endure, or offer a solution, or way forward. Sometimes we go to God in prayer and he only tells us the cause of the issue we are in. Remember here, he's only telling David the issue is Saul and his blood-stained house for killing Gibeonites, but he's not telling him the solution. Maybe David did not ask for it. Let us look for God can just, somebody can just keep quiet for you to endure, to persevere the situation. He tells you, my grace is sufficient. Continue. But sometimes he may actually give you even an answer, not even the ghost. He only tells you this solution. Go and do this. Then you're out of it. Or he may direct you to do something. So he may direct you to something, he may tell you that's a cause, he may just tell you to endure, and his grace is sufficient. So be willing to hear from him. Verse 2 says, in verse 2, the king summoned the Gibeonites, and he told them because of what Saul had done to them, he asked them for what can he do to them. That's verse 2 to 3, so that they can bless Israel. That's what David now did. He sought for the Gibeonites. So what we learn here, after hearing from God, do something about the issue. David looked for the Gibeonites and asked them, what do we do for you? Do something. He had God, and he went to the people who were wronged. Ask the Lord for clarity on the way forward over issues. He is asking Gibeonites for way forward instead of asking God. It is God who told him that Gibeonites were offended. They were wronged by Saul. Now he goes to Gibeonites and asks them, what do we do for you? He should ask the same God, what do we do to be able to be forgiven by the Gibeonites? So ask the same God for clarity. Realize some blessings are acquired from fellow human beings. David is telling the Gibeonites, what do we do for you so that you can bless us? Gibeonites had a blessing to give for the Israelites. Remember, they may have cursed them when Saul killed their kinsmen. The Gibeonites may have cursed Israel. That's why the famine is coming. But now David is telling them, what do we do for you so you can bless us? There are people who are carrying blessings for us. Just realize who they are and we honor them. Like our parents, men of God, etc. Verse 14, in verse 14 now, the Gibeonites comes up with a solution to kill the men of Saul. Around 7 men from the family of Saul were killed. And now in verse 14, they buried the bones of Saul and his son Jonathan in the tomb of his father Kish at Zela and Benjamin, and did everything the king commanded. After that, God answered prayer on behalf of the land. What do we learn? Realize things that hinder answers to your prayer and attend to them as much as you can. It was because of what Saul had done, and when they prayed, when they were able to bury even the bones of Saul and all that, and the